From the archives of the United States Cavalry, the true stories of Colonel Ranald Mackenzie and the cavalrymen he led. Mackenzie's Raiders. His secret orders from the President of the United States. Clean up the Southwest. Make it a fit place for Americans to live. Wipe out the renegades, outlaws, and murderers. If necessary, cross the Rio Grande, knowing capture means hanging by the enemy. Discovery, court-martial by the United States Army. August 9th, 1874, Southwest Texas caught in the grip of a devastating drought. A dry land in a dry season, without water, without the promise of any.
Isn't there something we can do to persuade them to stay, Colonel?
Yes, Lieutenant. Get them water. Somehow find them some water.
Colonel Mackenzie and his 4th Cavalry had fought hard to make the area safe for settlers. But without water, he would soon be protecting a wasteland. One source of water, fed by an underground river, could solve the plight of the cattlemen. But the water was owned by Edward Bodine, and it was to him the hard-pressed cattleman came. His term spelled war.
Whitfield's riding up.
Whitfield. Stay turning.
This is the big one, isn't it, Mr. Bodine?
The big one. Come in.
Hello, Ed. It's been a long time.
Whitfield, what brings you here?
Well, me and the other cattlemen from Twin Forks. We're out of water.
You representing them?
Sorta. No sense in all of us coming up here to talk about the same thing.
Twin Forks. The richest spreads in the territory. How does it feel coming to one who hasn't made it?
Ed, you and I came out here together 20 years ago. I never stood in your way. Got a little luckier, perhaps.
Until now. You've talked to the others. You know my terms.
And it is true. Even to me, Ed. To a man who's been your best friend, who introduced you to your wife.
Aren't you thinking of yourself right now, not the others, just yourself? Well, I'm doing the same thing, thinking of me, not you.
You switch the words any way you please, Ed. I'm thinking of one thing. Water for my cattle. How far are you going to go to get back what you lost?
Get to your point, Whitfield.
We need water. We'll gladly pay you a reasonable fee.
Half the head that waters on my land. You don't like my terms, don't waste my time.
I'll not see my herd die of thirst.
You don't have to. Sell out to me.
Sell out? Well, you failed all the way down the line. Don't try to cut me off. You know what I mean. Shutting out the world is one thing. Do you think I'd sell out to you or anybody else? I've been here 20 years come December. I'll be here another 20 if I have to ride over you and your men to get to that water.
Is that what the rest of your group is saying?
I told you. I represent them.
You're not meeting my terms.
Never.
Then you better get going. This is private property.
I'll see you dead before I see another head of my herd drop.
Swenson's come to terms. Make sure you count his herd good. Pick the best heads. And Turley, if anyone tries to get to that water, anyone, you tell the men to shoot.
Lieutenant. Lieutenant, did you follow up on this?
Yes, sir. Effective immediately, each man's water ration is down to 1.5 pints a day and 1 pan per barracks.
Right. Cut the men on patrol, too.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and show in, Mr. Whitfield.
Yes, sir. Mr. Whitfield?
Morning, Colonel.
Hello, Sam. Good of you to come.
Thank you.
Sit down. Well, Sam, how's your water supply holding up?
It isn't. We're all dry. What are you going to do about Ed Bodine?
I don't know. I was in hopes you could talk some sense into him.
I saw him yesterday. I'm just another cattleman who needs water.
Even you, huh?
He wants half the herd. I told him we'd give him a reasonable fee. I won't ask him again.
Now, wait a minute, Sam.
You wait a minute, Colonel. Look, I've listened to you. I've done my bit to keep the cattlemen in this area.
I know you have, Sam. I know you have. And I appreciate it.
Well, that isn't getting water from my herd.
Now, Sam, if you break the law, you know what my position has got to be.
You'd turn on your friends, huh?
You leave me no choice. One shot, and I'd have a range war on my hands. And that I'm not going to have.
In the meantime, I watch my herd die while Bodine has the protection of the law. No thanks, Colonel. I've got some ideas of my own. I'm not going to let 20 years slide away just because a man forgets the meaning of the word friend.
Now, wait a minute, Sam. I'll go out and talk to Bodine myself right
Talking
now.
won't do any good. Bodine knows how desperate we are. Why, we even tried to tap that underground river, which is off of his property.
Underground river?
Everybody knows that river forks in 2 directions. One feeds his property. The other goes underground, east of his spread. We couldn't tap it because it's covered with shale.
And it's not on his property. Underground river, huh? Sam, please. Let me talk to Bodine just this once before you do anything.
All right. You got it coming.
Thank you, Sam.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks again, Sam. Yeah. A new explosive called dynamite with 50 times the power of black powder will be delivered to all commands within 30 days. It's dated July 2nd, and it's now August 9th.
It hasn't arrived yet. It may be on the next supply wagon from Fort Inge on the 12th.
You can't wait that long. Dynamite may be exactly what I need to end this drought.
Dynamite?
Yeah, I saw a demonstration of it once. It's tricky stuff.
It should be at Fort Inge by now.
Send a buckboard to Fort Inge. Forced ride. Have the men tell the general there that it's an emergency. I need that dynamite immediately.
Yes, sir.
I'll be over at Bodine's place.
Dynamite?
How do you feel, Ed?
How should I feel?
I'm not sure.
I don't know what brings you here, Colonel, but I'm glad it saved me a ride. I want to discuss a little problem with you.
Oh? I thought you were the only man in this area that didn't have a problem.
Well, I try to take care of them before they happen. Sit down. I'm afraid Whitfield and his group might try to take the law into their own hands.
Oh, what makes you think that?
Well, the way he talked yesterday afternoon.
Ed, you know as well as I do, you're asking for it.
Colonel, you run the law, I'll run my business.
I'm asking you to change your terms, Ed.
Now, that sounds like a threat.
Ed, what's gotten into you? What is it? Letting the settlers use that water of yours won't cost you a cent.
It's as plain as the sun up in the sky. It's my chance to build a cattle empire, and it might not come again.
Seems to me we had a drought a few years back. The settlers used your water then.
I was a fool.
But you had friends.
I don't need friends.
Ed, you think building an empire is going to bring her back? Now get this into your head. She stayed with you a long time after you went sour and started hating everyone for your own failures. Taking it out on the settlers now, building an empire. That's not going to come close to bringing her back to you.
You've said enough, Mackenzie.
No, I haven't. Ed, the settlers in this area are going to have that water. And within the confines of the law.
Will you just go and find that law?
I don't have to.
Mr. Whitfield's waiting for you, sir.
Any luck?
Nope.
Go on, Colonel.
Now, Sam, you two have been friends for 20 years.
That ended just now.
Sam. Sam, you go after Bodine. I'll be alongside him.
I'd hate to see that.
Then why don't you go back to your ranch and wait?
What for? Just to hear those cattle moan for water?
Sam, you've got a big stake in this area. You break the law and it'll all come tumbling down around you.
And if I don't? Same thing happens.
Read that.
So?
Did you see the special uses it can be put to?
So what? Someday they find a newfangled way to tap water.
Not someday, Sam. Not someday. Today, I intend to end this drought with dynamite.
Can you guarantee it'll work?
Let's wait and see.
Sorry, Colonel. My cattle are thirsty.
Sam, just 24 hours. Give me your word you won't do anything for just 24 hours.
I'll see you 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
The man left for Fort Inge?
2 hours ago.
Get Sergeant Wells in here right away.
Yes, sir.
You know about the drought situation. It's already caused several settlers to leave this area. Your orders, Sergeant, are to prevent any further settlers from leaving.
The settlers, sir?
Yes, Sergeant, the settlers.
But, sir...
I know, Lieutenant, I know. Could mean my command, but I've got to risk it. At least until 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Well, how far do I go, sir?
Just as far as you have to. Use raiders wherever possible, Sergeant. Impress on them the reasons for these extreme measures. Also impress on them the necessity for these orders being strictly enforced.
How many men, sir?
As many as you need. I want all routes of departure sealed off. There's another danger. War. A range war. If there isn't water by 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, the cattlemen will start moving in on Bodine. So I want the bigger ones confined to their own property. The bigger ones like Sam Whitfield.
Yes, sir.
Mackenzie's raiders moved quickly to prevent the settlers from leaving the area. The crisis grew as the raiders moved in to protect Bodine's water and property. But the raiders hadn't moved fast enough to contain the cattlemen.
Why all the secrecy, Sam? The others coming? Yeah, they'll be here. It's about water and the way we're going to get it.
Once Mackenzie had briefed his men on the new explosive, they climbed the mountain above Bodine's property to locate the water source. The ranchers of Twin Forks would have water or war. Which they would choose depended upon Mackenzie's ability to tap the underground river which fed Bodine's pond.
All right, men. Let's start digging. Let me know when you hit shale. One of you start over there. 7-foot intervals. Here, 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 and here. Let's go.
It'll take us a month to hit water with these picks.
We don't have to go that far. Only as far as the shale. Then we'll prepare holes for the dynamite. 5 explosions ought to be enough to release the water. If it flows down this way, it'll come in well east of Bodine's property.
Where will it empty to, sir?
Twin Forks, I hope. Couldn't be a better place. All right, men. Keep digging. Don't let up till you hit the shale.
Colonel Mackenzie, Whitfield hasn't been in his ranch since he left your office.
What about the others?
I still have the men checking. There's 6 ranchers missing besides Whitfield.
All right, have your troopers drop everything. Keep looking for those men. They've got to organize somewhere. Get going.
But Whitfield gave you 24 hours.
He did, and he'll keep his word. But when the 24 hours are up, he'll be ready to move. If that dynamite was at 40-inch, our men ought to be on their way with it by now.
I sent our best riders.
See if you can pick them up on the trail. Bring the dynamite directly here.
Yes, sir.
So I gave him my word. 24 hours.
But, Sam, even if Mackenzie's explosive doesn't work, why do you think Bodine hired Turley and those others? Because they're men who are paid to use their guns.
But if we get Bodine, they'll have no argument with us.
Might not work out that way. It could mean a range war.
Maybe. But it's not our choice. We've got to do something ourselves. Mackenzie's already made it clear where he stands. Either we do it, or we sit and wait for our cattle to die. Mackenzie's got very little time left.
Shale. This one's ready for dynamite. If it ever gets here. Keep working.
Eight o'clock. Plenty of time to get into position. In exactly 3 hours and 1 minute, we'll come upon Bodine's from the rear. Anyone try to stop us? Use these.
Keep working, men. What can I do for you, Mr. Bodine?
I want to know what you're doing up here.
Not your property, is it?
This is where my water comes from. I got a right to know. I don't know what you're doing to this mountain, but I'm warning you. You got no right to fool with my water supply.
I'm fooling with a mountain. You don't own that, do you?
What are you trying to prove?
Nothing. But these people in this area are going to have water, and within the limits of the law.
Colonel, you're bluffing. There's no way in the world to get to that water source.
Maybe there is. With the use of a new explosive called dynamite.
Dynamite? Never heard of it. Where is it?
It'll be here.
Well, you just go right ahead with your games. I'm not budging an inch.
I'm not asking you to. But if this works, Ed, you're really gonna know how it feels to be alone.
You'd be much better off worrying about Whitfield. If he comes this way, you're gonna have your hands full protecting me.
You got this ready?
Yep.
Tell him to move up slowly. Stay on the edge of Bodine's property.
Sure, we can surprise him. None of us are looking forward to a gun battle.
It might have to be that way. 20 minutes. I'll get as close to that house as I can.
Colonel?
There he is.
Colonel? Dynamite!
Midnight, somebody.
New way to make rain.
Now it's up to the inventor. Light them all at once. Ready?
Go ahead, Turley. If you're smart, you'll back away. This is between Bodine and me.
You better think twice, Sam. I haven't broken any laws.
You've broken more laws than any man I've ever known.
I've never killed. That's what you're about to do.
What about your wife? Your bitterness gnawed away at her until she had to take your kid and leave. Then you started on yourself until every breathing moment was filled with hate. Now you're trying to spread your disease throughout the whole area, not caring if your friends go under or if people you don't even know die of thirst. And you say you haven't killed.
Why shouldn't I take advantage? Nobody ever helped me.
You got it wrong. You never let anybody help. You were too busy with your spite of other people's success to even see a friend or the woman who loved you.
So this is the way we end up.
Killing you won't hurt the world a bit. You already threw the world away.
Water, Sam. Water. It's not on Bodine's property.
I don't know whether it means anything to you, but you saved my life. I guess I owe you a favor.
I guess you do at that. And I think I'd like to collect on it, too.
What can I do for you or for anybody else?
There's a stage leaving for the East tomorrow. Be on it. You've got a wife and a child back there. And I'll bet they're waiting for you.
I hope so.
Colonel, I want to thank you. I came mighty close to doing a foolish thing.
No thanks necessary, Sam. When you're making your prayers, though, you might just thank the Lord that nobody was killed.
Yeah, I will.